I want to thank you so much for coming to Elgin and helping us and helping our families with the young children, getting them ready for school and getting them excited about being lifelong learners. I know you've got a lot to share with them. Tell me a little bit about what you're planning to share tonight.
So what we're planning to talk about are those essential skills that children need to have when they start kindergarten. There are three major skills that, or areas or domains that children need to be knowledgeable of, and one is reading and writing or literacy, another one is math, and one of the most important ones is social emotional development. So children not only need to know their numbers, their letters, their colors, and their shapes, but they also need to learn how to talk with one another, how to communicate, how to solve problems, and how to play with one another. One of the biggest challenges that teachers have is when children are not actually prepared to engage with one another. And so when us as parents help them to engage with one another, then they are prepared and they are meeting those essential skills that the teachers are expecting.
So one of the very natural ways, Jamie, of doing all this is by using a book. And instead of what we did tonight was, instead of reading the book from cover to cover, we're actually using the rich illustrations to promote some conversations, even problem solve. How many cats do you see, or how many animals do you see? What colors do you see on the page? What do you suppose this boy is doing in a given illustration? And what we wanted to build tonight was this natural conversation around books, but excellent illustrations. And we were looking for a rich conversation between child and parent using a book in an alternative way.
Hi everybody, how are y'all doing this afternoon? Good? Okay. I think we're going to be doing a little bit of, we're going to be doing English, but we're also going to be doing a little bit in Spanish, just so that way everybody can understand. And so I thank you for coming tonight. I know that on a Tuesday, you know, after work, sometimes it's hard. But, you know, for our kids, we do lots of wonderful things for them. Gracias por venir esta tarde, esta noche, porque es muy importante venir y aprender acerca de lo que nuestros niños necesitan para estar preparados para que empiecen la escuela. So, how many of your children are going to go to kindergarten this coming year? Okay. So, what happens in kindergarten? ¿Qué es lo que sucede en el kinder? What happens? Y'all remember kindergarten? Okay, let me ask you this. How many of you went to kindergarten? What happens in kindergarten?
They get to learn a lot.
They get to learn a lot. Like what?
Write their name fully.
Okay, so they're supposed to write their names fully.
Learn the alphabets and
Okay.
numbers. And
Okay. Alphabet, numbers. Entonces, en kindergarten empiezan a aprender las letras, los números. But y'all didn't answer me. How many of you went to kindergarten? ¿Cuántos fueron al kinder? Yeah. Kindergarten is an important rite of passage, right? And so when children come to kindergarten, we expect them to know certain things. Cuando los niños empiecen a ir al kinder, esperamos que ellos sepan ciertas cosas. You were just saying that they need to know their letters and their numbers, right? And that's what we want them to know. Do we want them to know all the letters and the numbers?
well, at that age, I guess it depends.
You said the key word. At that age, I'm not sure. Ella dijo una palabra muy importante, dice, en esa edad. Hay ciertas cosas que esperamos que los niños hagan y hay ciertas cosas que no. So at that age, we expect children to know certain things, and others, they're going to come. That's what we talk about development. Hablamos acerca del desarrollo porque los niños deben de aprender ciertas cosas dependiendo del nivel de desarrollo en el que estén. So for instance, we have babies here, right? We know that they're going to grow and they're going to be learning certain things little by little, right? Sabemos que los bebés se van a desarrollar y van a aprender ciertas cosas paso a pasito. We don't want to rush them, right? What happens when you rush children? What do you think may happen? You frustrate them, right? And then you get frustrated too, right? Cuando hacemos que los niños hagan algo que no es apropiado para su edad, se van a frustrar. Y luego nosotros nos vamos a frustrar. And so the frustrated part is so difficult, right? Because, hello, come on in. Because what happens when you're frustrated? You don't learn, right? And as an adult, what are some of those characteristics that you show when you're frustrated? Enojo, you get upset. And so when you're upset, do we want our children to see us that way? No, not to that level. Sometimes it's inevitable, right? Because it's an emotion. Es un sentimiento el enojarnos. And it's okay to feel those emotions, but they have to be healthy emotions, right? We don't want the children also to get frustrated. So, when children are getting ready, prepared to go to kindergarten, there is something called essential skills. Have y'all ever heard that term? No? So when teachers are saying, oh, I'm going to get those kindergartners, cuando las maestras dicen, ay, van a venir los niños que están en el kinder, they expect certain things from them. Las maestras esperan ciertas cosas de ellos. And those things are called essential skills. Esas habilidades se llaman habilidades esenciales para el kinder. And so where do we get that list? Who said that somebody needs to know, the children need to know the letters and the numbers and the colors and the shapes? Who says that? ¿Quién dice lo que los niños deben de saber, los números, los colores, las letras? Well, we have agencies and we have organizations that get together and they look at the kinds of things that are appropriate for children to know. Hay organizaciones del gobierno y privadas que dicen, esto es lo que los niños deben de saber. And they base that knowledge on developmental levels of children. So what you have in front of you is a handout that focuses on those essential skills. And what we are hoping to do with this parent or family literacy program is help you focus on those essential skills. So that way you can help your children be prepared for when they get to kindergarten. Lo que nosotros estamos tratando de hacer con este programa familiar que se enfoca mucho en el alfabetismo es preparar a los niños con esas habilidades para cuando lleguen al kinder. And so what we're going to be doing, our purpose for this parent engagement program is to have an interactive discussion and an interactive engagement and create a partnership to help you move your children forward. Now, maybe your children already know these essential skills, ¿verdad? Maybe a lo mejor sus niños ya saben estas habilidades. Pero hay ciertas cosas un poco más que deben de saber para cuando lleguen a la escuela. So even if your child already has mastered all of these skills, we're going to give you a very broad perspective about the essential foundation of these skills and why these are essential for your children to know. So let's take a look quickly. And Mary Esther, let me know like how much time I have, okay? So the first two sections, one is called reading and writing, and the other one is math. And this is exactly what y'all were saying. Oh, you know, you need the letters and the numbers. Las dos primeras secciones son la lectura, escritura y las matemáticas. And so look at the reading and writing. What does it say that the children need to know? Can somebody read it? Or just, ¿qué es lo que dice que deben de que saber los niños? What are some of those skills? Use school supplies appropriately. Did you ever think about that, the importance of that? No. Tienen que saber cómo usar los útiles escolares apropiadamente. Why do they need to learn to do that?
The appropriate ones to use.
Exactly. They have to take care of the materials. They have to know how to put things away. So using it appropriately has so many different meanings, right? You put it away when you use it, you cover your markers, you don't break your crayons, you hold the scissors a certain way. Entonces, usando los útiles escolares es importante que ellos sepan porque tienen que guardar las cosas, tienen que saber cómo cortar. So this is a really good opportunity for you to be working with your children to see, okay, well, what is it, how is it that I can teach them how to use those materials appropriately? And we're gonna, in a little bit, we're gonna do an activity and Mary Esther's gonna give you some ideas about that. The next one is write their name. El que sigue es cómo escribir su nombre. And we just had a little girl talking about that her name is Jimena, and she was showing us how she was trying to write her name. And that's essential because she knows that when she marks that paper, it has some meaning. And so that's very important. If the child does not understand that, then we need to take a little step back before we force them to write their name. Es muy importante que los niños sepan la habilidad de reconocer que lo que yo escribo tiene un significado, ¿verdad? Identify letters in their name. And notice that it doesn't say, it just says write their name. It doesn't say they have to know exactly how to write their name. They just need to know their name. I have 4 minutes. Okay. So then you can see the other skills, and then Mary Esther will take you to the next through this in a little bit. And then math. Look at those skills. Count to at least 20. Identify numbers to 10 randomly. That means that they can look at the numbers and they can identify. They don't have to be written the way that they usually are. Identify shapes, colors, and use fingers to touch and count objects. So I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Entonces, hay habilidades de matemáticas en que los niños deben de saber cómo contar hasta el 20, cómo identificar formas y colores, y tocar con los deditos los objetos para poder contarlos. And the last part is the most important part of all, social emotional. La última habilidad es la más importante y esa es la socioemocional. Play with others, jugar con otros. When you play with others, what do you have to learn to do?
Share.
Share. What else? Tienes que saber compartir, right?
Social skills.
Social skills, right? No hitting, no biting, things like that. Because when you do, then you can't play, and the other kids are not going to want to play with you, right? Cuando los niños no saben jugar bien, que no comparten, que muerden y todo eso, entonces no pueden jugar con los otros niños y no se hacen amigos. So then the kids are not going to have friends. They learn to communicate. Can your child communicate their needs and their wants? ¿Puede comunicar su niño o niña lo que ellos quieren o lo que necesitan? Because when a child cannot communicate, guess what's going to happen? That tantrum, right? Van a tener un problema porque van a ser, en español decimos el berrinche, ¿verdad? And they'll have that tantrum because they can't tell us what they're feeling. And so we need to give that vocabulary to our children so that way they know they can identify those feelings. Follow directions, seguir instrucciones, right? So when they don't follow directions, what happens? They're going their own way. I mean, a great example was when they got in line and they all followed along. So that's an excellent way of following directions. And then problem solve. Sometimes as parents, we want to do everything for our kids, right? A veces nosotros queremos resolver los problemas por nuestros niños without realizing that if we don't let them solve those problems, they're always going to be depending on us or on an adult. So when they get to kindergarten, they're going to be depending on the teacher, but the teacher wants them to be independent. Entonces, so then what we have to do is that we need to change our frame of mind, but we need to do it within our own values, within our own cultural values. And so that's very important because that's how we live every single day. And then we need to use the resources that we have, such as the library, to be able to help our children move forward and be prepared in learning these skills. Tenemos que usar los recursos como la biblioteca para ayudar a nuestros niños a desarrollar estas habilidades. Now, are these the only skills? These are just like minimal. Minimal.
Are these for going into kindergarten?
This is for going into kinder. This is going into before they go into kindergarten, okay? Before they go into kindergarten. And we got this, the first two, the reading and writing, the math, from a teacher who's a kindergarten teacher. And she was asked, what skills do you expect your children to know, or the children that are coming? And these are the ones that she wrote. We added the social emotional ones because we see, as we are out in the schools, we see a lot of issues that children have because they don't have these social skills that we listed. And so then the teacher is the one that has to be after them. No, don't do this, don't do that. And we don't want that. We want our children prepared to be able to be part of a community, which is kindergarten. And so we thank the library for providing the resources, because you can do these through literature, through children's literature. And so what a wonderful way to do this while at the same time teaching them these other skills. And my time is up. It was perfect timing, right? Entonces le damos gracias a la biblioteca porque la biblioteca es un recurso que los padres pueden utilizar para ayudarle a los niños a que desarrollen estas habilidades. So now I'm going to turn it over to the survey. That's right. Do the survey over here.
Thank you for coming. We just love this. When we're working with a book, we think, oh, we have to read it from the beginning to the end. But what we're going to do today is just look at a book, and we're going to do a book walk or a picture walk. Solamente las ilustraciones. Mari, can you help me with this one? Mm-hmm. And then they at that end, and we're just looking at the. Yeah. And just the front of the book cover. La portada del libro. ¿Qué es lo que ven? What do you see? And inglés o en español? Yes, yes.
Village preparing dinner.
A vil- ¿Qué es lo que ven? Ah,
Gracias. Una familia haciendo tamales.
family gathering, a village preparing a meal. Okay. We're just going to look at some of the pictures because of time, and then we're going to jump to make connections about these being prepared for kindergarten. So here's the first tip. You don't have to read the book every time. And if they are not ready to listen to a whole book, that's fine. The illustrations work well. Tener pláticas sobre las ilustraciones basta. Here's a connection to math. How many animals do you see? ¿Cuántos animales se ven aquí? Your 3 and 4-year-old can count with you. Yeah. Yes. And so we have un gatito, un perrito, una gallina, y también tenemos otra gallina acá. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 animals. And with your little 3 and 4-year-old and 5-year-old, you can just talk about what's in the picture. This book is written by Carmen Lomas Garza from Austin. This was written like in the 1990s. And she just decided, I know that I'm an illustrator, so I can actually think about my own growing up experiences and also illustrate them and say something about my own family. Here's another village. And, and we're celebrating a birthday. What would be one of the questions you could ask your child about the picture? ¿Qué pudiéramos preguntar sobre la ilustración?
And think about those essential skills.
Yeah, look at your sheet. Yeah. Yes, how many people are there? And we can count, and maybe the 3-year-old cannot count, but you can go up to 5. How many piñatas do you see? 1. Are there any animals? No animals. How many trees are there in the illustration? What's the discussion?
Oh, down at the bottom, you were asking if there were any animals, but I think there's a cat at the bottom.
It's very teeny tiny, way at the bottom. That's right. Come on in and join us. Okay, let's look at something that's very colorful.
But it's good discussion because we're figuring out the illustrations, right? What is here? What is that? And then the use of the vocabulary, because we need to make sure that we identify the correct vocabulary, right?
Is this a familiar page? Have you seen this activity? Can you find the page of? What does this make you think of?
Family time.
Family time. It reminds me of family time. What else? A summer night. What else? What do you suppose that the family is feeling? Joyful. I like that vocabulary word. They are feeling joyful. What about the children?
They're sharing.
Okay, there's an element of sharing. How many watermelon pieces are there? ¿Cuántas piezas de sandía hay? Or I could say, how many slices of watermelon are there? Yeah. There's one watermelon, but how many slices? Do you see how we were having an interaction right there? We're negotiating for an understanding. It's okay. It's about talking to the little ones and letting that language flow. And we can talk about the summer nights. We can talk about how many adults there are. We can talk about how many children there are, right? And we even talked about how much they feel. So that's prediction. And that is very important in reading. And do you see that we're not even reading the entire book? It's not necessary with little ones. There was another one that I wanted to show you because it's very brilliant here. This is the same author. And I'll just show you this. This is This is the same author with a second book that she wrote. What colors do you see in this on this page? What colors? Red, green, blue.
Yellowish, brown.
Right. What color of the plants match the dress? Can you tell me how many animals there are in this illustration? Who's sleeping? The cat and the brother. Why is the brother asleep and everybody else is busy? Why do you think?
It's dark out.
It's dark. It's past the bedtime. And so you could just brainstorm about any illustration in any book, and it's enough to it's enough to yes, she is. And it's enough to captivate the children. This is like a snapshot. When have you seen snapshots in your home? I'm not talking about a book. This is just a general question. ¿Cuándo han visto así fotografías o algo de las familias? Who has photographs, family photographs at home? And in modern times, we have many family photos in our phones, correct? While we're waiting for the bus, while we're waiting for the doctor, while we're waiting to see the doctor or anywhere, could you use your phone instead of scrolling and looking for what's latest on the news, and start talking to the little one about a family photo? Remember when we went, wherever you went? What do you see? What colors do you see? What did you like about that day? And so we're addressing all those feelings and these abilities and these expectations that we want our kindergartner to take. Here's what Mari and I are trying to say to you. In everyday life, as simple as it is, you really don't need to buy anything. You can always come to the library for a book. But the whole idea is how you use it, correct? And remember that I said you don't have to read a book from the front to the back. Is that whatever page captivates your little one, whatever it takes to draw them into the book, the illustration, That's what really prepares them for language and for problem solving. You can start counting, you can look at numbers and also at colors. And everything is on your sheet, correct? That we did here in a very natural way. And the most important is that we want a natural conversation about books. And this is how we tell our students to become lifelong learners, is by being attracted and you gravitate to something that's really interesting. Can you tell me, as a parent, what do you do when you want to call your lovely child over for reading and they'd rather not? What would you do?
My kindergartner loves books.
Okay.
I read like 5 books sometimes at night before she goes to bed.
It's part of the routine.
Yeah.
Part of the routine. And also to put off going to bed, going to sleep.
And my 3-year-old, he won't even look at the books.
Okay, so
He's different.
what do you do when you say, let's come and read?
I'll tell Dad to try and help. It's hard to get him to sit to do anything.
Okay, so what do you do? What is the child with a behavior telling you about that experience? How would you interpret it? There's something else more interesting, right? Okay, so as a parent, what do you do? It's just open-ended here. There's no right or wrong answer. We're just kind of brainstorming as parents. What do you
Make it
do?
more interesting. Act it out in voices or something.
Okay, reading with enthusiasm, right?
Turn off the TV.
Turn off the TV.
All electronic.
All devices, all electronics. Is that the timer? Okay.
But this is good conversation.
Yes. So let's just end with, what can we do if the child is reluctant? No quieren arrimarse al libro.
Let them be the one to pick a book out. That's
Oh. Okay, so we're stepping away from the top down, here's a book, to pick a book for us. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué podemos hacer?
Lo que yo hago con mi niña es permitirle que ella trate de leérmelo, que no sabe leer, pero que ella se invente una historia y me lo diga primero a mí.
She welcomes her child to come and read the story to mom. Right? We're reversing the role. Hey, you're in charge. You go pick a book, and now it's my turn to be a listener. Correct. Yes. Something else? I love all these tips. Turn off the TV, turn off the devices. You go pick a book that you like and read it to mama or dad. Yeah, absolutely right. You know your children. The whole idea is to entice them over time. You just build little by little, and turn over the power to them. It's not forced. It's to love something has to be interesting. Good. We're going to bring in the children, but I'm also going to give you homework, but the homework is going to be delightful. And I will repeat the homework assignment. At home, you can use your phone or your photo album, and you can actually write and draw something about a photograph, something about your family, taking a photo, whether from your phone or your album, and you're going to write about it. And your child can illustrate it with you. They can even take their crayons and write along with you about that illustration. Just like Carmen Lomas Garza, she gave us an illustration and then she writes a little bit about it. Are we looking for perfection? No, we're looking for authenticity. That means that it emerges from the child. Ustedes pueden usar una fotografía o del teléfono o de un álbum y ustedes pueden conversar sobre cualquier fotografía y pueden ilustrarla y además escribir un poquito. ¿Puede usar la niña o el niño las crayolas para agregar a lo que escriben? Claro que sí. It should be something that's together, done with parent, and we're working on literacy. So here are the little ones, and we're ready for our next activity.
And always remember what you Ahí está. Is you're going to get to take a journal home. A journal, can you believe that? That is so exciting. It's your own, very, very much your own journal. Can you take care of it? Yes? All right, awesome. Van a llevar su diario a su casa, but before you go, you have to decorate your journal, okay? So we're going to give you just something very simple, and you're going to get a piece of paper, and we can just tape it like that. But before you tape it, we want you to work with your child about how they want to decorate their journal. That's the activity here. When you go home, you're going to do what Mary Esther said. You're going to open it up, and you're going to create a journal about all kinds of activities that your child is interested in. So you find and maybe they'll tell you when they want to write, right? Some a little bit more excited than others. And so you can create your own family pictures with the kinds of things that you do. But you also, ¿me la prestas? You also have to remember the essential skills. Okay? And so the more that you practice and you internalize these essential skills, the more that they're going to come just natural to you. And so you'll be able to incorporate it, whether when you go to the doctor, the grocery store, grandma's house, aunt's house, or the park, wherever you are, you need to incorporate that. And so that's what we're going to do right now. Lo que van a hacer es que van a dibujar la portada del diario y luego cuando ya se vayan a su casa, la tarea es dibujar los cuadros de familia con actividades que ustedes hagan en su casa. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and pass the papers. Anything you like, lo que más te guste dibujar. Here we go. Hello. There we go. Hello. I like your curly hair.
Thank you.
Oh, you're going to get the crayons, okay.
Baby, come back over here. They're cutting this way.
You want to help me pass these out? Yeah. All right. There you go. Thank you. You want to start that way to the right? There you go. And maybe just a little bit of tape so that way they can just look at it. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Their own. That will be great. So that way they can practice together. Thank you. I think everybody has one. Do you have one? Oh, you don't have one. Here you go. What's your name? Jason. Jameson. Okay. Jameson. All right.
Come here, decorate your...
Ándale, lo está haciendo. Muy bien.
It says T-Rex. What one is this?
All right.
What color do you want to do this one? You want to do a stegosaurus?
Put the timer. Set the timer. Una cosa que aprendieron hoy en la noche. Tell me one thing that you learned.
Getting them involved.
Getting them involved.
So we will be continuing these classes once a month at the Elgin Public Library in Elgin, Texas. The second Tuesday of the month, we start at 5:30 and the class runs to 7 o'clock. The next one will be November the 12th. And we'll have a light meal beforehand. We'll have engaging activities for the children while the parents visit, and then we'll finish up with a parent-child activity, and every child takes home a brand new book for them to keep. For more information, call us at the library, 512-281-5678, or stop by any day, Tuesday through Saturday. Bye now.